When a device is launched together with a product like the P30 Pro, the risk is that it will go unnoticed. Huawei's P30 actually shines a proper light, with the exception of some features reserved for its bigger sibling. The key to understanding this smartphone is certainly the price. Huawei P30 has no particular flaw, and the few shortcomings do not compromise the user experience. The photographic compartment is top-notch, and the same goes for overall performance. The OLED display is more than convincing, and thanks to the 6.1-inch diagonal, and the absence of curved edges, has also great ergonomics. The software is on par with other Huawei devices, and has both merits and drawbacks. Package. The package contains a 4.5 ampere power adapter for quick charging, a USB to USB-C cable, a transparent silicone case, and a pair of good quality earbuds, with a 3.5mm audio jack, unlike the one bundled with the P30 Pro. 6 inches is the magic number. I remain true to my idea that smaller smartphones are more intriguing, and that the Pro and Plus variants are often too bulky in everyday use. The P30 is similar to the P20, but offers more screen real estate, since the fingerprint reader is now positioned underneath the display. Huawei has further improved the sensor, and is now quick, precise, and a valid alternative to the classic one. Security is always a concern, and this sensor doesn't come with 3D recognition, so it is nowhere as secure as the one on the Galaxy S10. The phone sits well in your hand, the front panel is flat, and the red power button is positioned at the right height. The first welcome surprise lies on the bottom, where, in addition to the USB-C 3.1, there is also a 3.5mm audio jack, something that the P30 Pro sorely misses. It's a pity that it does not have the highest certification against dust and water resistance, but instead we find only a measly IP53. Another thing missing, and this will be a deal breaker for some, is wireless charging. Top performance and autonomy. The Kirin 980, combined with the Mi 9.1, 6GB of RAM, and 128GB of internal memory, transform this phone into a powerhouse, not so much for raw performance, as for autonomy. Despite the fact that under the hood we find a measly 3650 mAh unit, the hardware and software optimization is such that the battery will last you a full day. Compared to its bigger sibling, it doesn't suffer the 2GB less RAM. Personally, I couldn't see a difference between using one or the other, nor in everyday multitasking nor in gaming. The Mi 9.1 software has made some small steps forward. It is now complete and well organized, but I wouldn't mind more modern icons, fewer bloatware, and a more incisive interface that distinguishes this skin from the rest. The best photographic compartment. There are 3 sensors on the back, the main 40-megapixel one, the secondary is a 16-megapixel wide-angle sensor, and the third is an 8-megapixel telephoto lens with optical stabilization. The latter, thanks to its variable focal length, can enable a 3x optical zoom, and a 5x hybrid zoom. The P30 can also go up to a fully digital 30x zoom. Huawei's work in relation to zooming is in some ways amazing. Up to 5 times the loss of detail is really negligible, both in day and nighttime. Having such a feature is really useful, and this is the real ace in the whole of the P30 range. For comparison, just think that a product like the Galaxy S10 Plus can only count on a 2x optical zoom, and you will understand the importance. Moreover, the photographic sector as a whole is the best we have ever seen on a smartphone. The main 40-megapixel RGB sensor guarantees excellent shots in all conditions, while night mode, now a trademark for Huawei, further enhances low-light photography. The 16-megapixel wide-angle is always fun to use, definitely more useful than a monochrome sensor. And don't forget about the beautiful macros, with a focus that starts at 1 inch. The 30x zoom is obviously more of a publicity stunt, since the loss of detail is inevitably huge, and in addition it is really difficult to get a steady shot. We got some acceptable results by fixing the smartphone on a tripod, but in this case, the concept of handy is lost. Good news for the video section. Huawei's step forward in this area is clear, so much so that it almost bridges the gap with Samsung, Google, and Apple. The P30 can record compelling footage up to 4K resolution at 30 fps. The electronic stabilization works quite well, and the results are good even at night. There is also a super slow motion mode that goes up to 960 fps at 720p. The 32-megapixel front-facing camera doesn't have HDR+, but the quality doesn't suffer. It captures good selfies, both in good and low light conditions, where inevitably, a bit of digital noise creeps in. Portrait mode does an excellent job at framing the subjects. Final verdict. The Huawei P30 is the ideal device for those looking for a top-of-the-range camera phone, without having to spend dizzying figures. When the price drops under $500, this P30 will become a true best buy, able to take on devices such as the Xiaomi Mi 9 and OnePlus 6T, that bet everything on the value for money factor.